Marks on the china never mattered before. Who cared when you drop kicked your jacket as you came through?
Hey everybody, welcome to Belvedere Bros. And PJ, I didn't realize this early into the Mr. Belvedere series that they were going to make us face mortality so early. I mean, it's only the 11th episode, and we already have to deal with this type of subject matter.
I was actually shocked. It took me by surprise. I did not remember this episode watching it originally at all.
We already lost Mr. Zabriskie. This early into the series, Mr. Zabriskie is gone. This is Game of Thrones level surprise at losing a character like Mr. Zabriskie so early.
We literally just met him.
Mr. Zabriskie, we barely knew ye. Is what I was thinking when I was watching this episode that was released on October 18th, 1985. And PJ, I also couldn't help but think, I mean, they forced me to think about this, that when we're watching Mr. Belvedere, the two main characters of this show, George and Belvedere, they're both no longer with us. So we are watching characters deal with something, joke about it, and those characters, the people portraying those characters, are no longer with us.
I never ever think about the fact that they're no longer with us. I just consider it like a current thing happening. But yeah, when you think about it, and it's crazy. It's like on Curb Your Enthusiasm when Richard Lewis was joking about dying in that last season, and he was dead by the time the season came out. That was heavy.
Yeah,
this is definitely a heavy episode. Who did they say that Wesley took his influence from to learn the old squeeze box there? He was playing the national anthem at a ball game, but he played it on an accordion.
Right. Dick Contino?
Yeah, I was going to look him up, but then I just figured we'll just do the podcast. You probably did that.
Yes. George.
I knew you would look him up.
George blames Belvedere, of course, for Wesley's interest in the accordion. But Belvedere blames George.
This is all your fault.
My fault? I encouraged him to take up music, not the accordion. That was your idea.
Hey, I took him to a ball game. How was I supposed to know Dick Contino was going to play the national anthem?
Dick Contino was an American accordionist and singer from Fresno. His signature piece was called Lady of Spain, and he had a hit single. His first hit single was Yours, which reached number 27 on the U.S. pop charts in 1954.
Is it polka?
No, it's an instrumental where the accordion plays the main melody of the song. It's a very pretty song.
I'll check it out.
Dick Contino, PJ, was actually billed as the world's greatest accordion player, and he appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show a record 48 times.
48 times?
Yep.
Wow.
That's right.
Hey, there's a lot of good Counting Crows songs with accordion in it.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I like the accordion. I was surprised to see Wesley take an interest in it in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, 80s, you would think like guitar, like this was like the height of rock and roll. Maybe he would have, but no, Wesley's a curveball. He likes to take ballet. He takes accordion.
Right. Yeah. Wesley is really open-minded about what his interests are. But before we get a little further into that, PJ, I wanted to give you a little background on this episode and when it aired. This episode actually came out on October 18th of 1985. The very next day, October 19th of 85, the first Blockbuster opened in Dallas.
Wow.
But what's even more interesting than that, the very day that this episode came out, October 18th of 1985, that's the day that the Nintendo Entertainment System was released in North America.
Jeez, what a time to be alive. Nintendo Entertainment System and Blockbuster Video. What a weekend that would be.
I'm surprised with how on top of current events, be it the wrestling episode or the Prince episode.
Yes.
That they didn't incorporate Nintendo into this episode.
I wonder if we're going to see it in a couple episodes, though. I bet we do. It was too big. It was too big for them not to touch it. They're very on top of that thing. Very South Park-esque of them.
True. And this week, PJ, the top 3 songs in the country.
Okay.
The week that this episode came out. Number 3, Part-Time Lover from Stevie Wonder.
Nice.
Number 2, Saving All My Love for You from Whitney Houston.
Okay. Banger.
And the number 1 song the week that this episode came out, Take On Me.
Oh, wow. Okay. Heavy into the MTV days for sure. The video is awesome.
What a time to be alive. Take On Me is the number 1 song. The Nintendo is released. Blockbuster Video opens. And Mr. Belvedere is forcing us to deal with the fact that we're all going to die.
Could you rent Nintendo games at Blockbuster? I'm sure you could.
I'm sure you could eventually. PJ, I got a question for you. Did you recognize Mr. Zabriskie from anything?
No, what would I have recognized him from?
So, who played Mr. Zabriskie in this episode was an actor named Albert Haig, who also played the role of the psychiatrist that the basketball players go to when they lose their skills in Space Jam.
I've never seen Space Jam.
You never saw Space Jam?
No, I've never seen it.
That's really surprising.
Yeah, I was a big Michael Jordan fan, but I just never really cared to see it. I think I had the shoes.
I also never saw Space Jam.
Okay, so it's not weird, yeah.
But I'm very surprised that you haven't.
Yeah, it's surprising that I haven't seen that, considering how much I like Michael Jordan, but I don't know, it just wasn't, I had no desire to see that movie. Like I said the other day, like we were talking about how I never saw Lion King either. And you'd never seen all of it, but you never like sat down and watched Being Ned. Yeah, that's just one of those ones that missed me. I don't think I've ever seen Air Bud either.
I have seen Mr. Belvedere season 2, episode 4.
Yes.
The episode titled Requiem that starts with Wesley taking his accordion lesson from Mr. Zabriskie. Wesley obviously hasn't practiced, and this is really pissing Mr. Zabriskie off, and maybe rightfully so. He's trying to instruct him, and he tells him,
"Not like that, you little communist."
Where was he born? Where did they say? Was that a thing for him?
I'm not sure where he was born, but he does tell him to imagine himself in a Bavarian village.
Imagine you're in Bavaria, in a beautiful little village. All the people are gay.
They're gay?
They're happy.
That they're gay got a great laugh too, that canned laughter.
That's right.
They leaned in heavy on that one.
So Wesley apologizes to him, but Mr. Zabriskie tells him, don't be sorry, be good. And shortly after that, he dies on the couch.
Yeah, I liked how he came around before he died a little bit. He was upset with the fact that Wesley, understandably so, didn't practice. Like, he's mad about that. So and then he starts to become encouraging. But the thing I wanted to mention that was kind of weird, and you'd probably think the same thing, is he's yelling at Wesley about the tempo, not giving him any help on the tempo whatsoever. He doesn't even count him in.
Oh.
And as I was watching, I'm like, I can't wait to talk to Chris about how would Wesley have known what the tempo is supposed to be? There's normally for a piano lesson, they'd have one of those old school metronomes going or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Zabriskie should have brought an old school metronome, but that's the least of our problems right now because Mr. Zabriskie has just up and died out of nowhere. George comes in the room and he doesn't know what to do. He yells for Belvedere. Of course.
Of course he's going to yell for Belvedere.
Yeah, he doesn't take a pulse, doesn't call 911.
Well, you have to figure Belvedere's CPR trained too. But also too, I wanted to say, did you notice when they were kind of teaming up, they were forming an alliance against Wesley and the accordion in the kitchen. It was nice to see George and Belvedere kind of getting along.
That's a good point. No one is happy about these accordion lessons. And apparently Wesley's the one who pushed for them. Normally you would think a young kid taking accordion lessons, you got to assume that an adult has pushed them that way. But no, this was all Wesley's idea. And that's okay. I mean, I'm actually surprised that we didn't bring old Weird Al Yankovic into the equation here because 1985, you got to think a lot of kids, pretty much any kid that's being influenced to play the accordion, Weird Al probably has something to do with it.
I thought that's where it was going.
Right.
Wesley's a little wacky, a little zany. He probably loved Weird Al.
You would think so.
He definitely loved to eat it.
Wesley really is pretty blasé about the fact that Mr. Zabriskie has died. The whole family's concerned about how Wesley's going to take it. Wesley seems to be fine with it.
How's Mr. Zabriskie?
Hey, champ, what say we head to the kitchen, have some ice cream and chocolate chip cookies, huh?
Dead, huh?
Yeah, he is.
How come he died?
Well, he was no spring chicken. I guess the old squeeze box kind of gave out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think.
That's an age, man, where I don't know if life and death really, if you could really grasp it yet.
I can go back to like second grade when my grandfather died. And I remember, this is going to sound silly, but like not understanding why people were upset because now he got to go to heaven.
Right.
That was the thing. I was like, well, you know, he's in a better place now. And I like, as a child, I believed that. Like, that was the truth.
Yeah, sure.
Like, he's not, like it stinks that we're not going to see him. But I didn't really have the concept of missing people either, I don't think, at that point.
Yeah. And also, this is Wesley's teacher. It's not a family member or anything like that. Wesley seems to be handling it pretty well. Heather's practicing walking in heels because she has a date with somebody that's 6'4". That's a big plot point in this episode.
Yeah.
Kevin teaches Heather how to dance.
Yeah.
And George is trying to help Wesley out by hitting him with a lot of cake and sweets. So much so that Wesley actually asks Belvedere for a vegetable.
Here we go, champ. One Matterhorn special. How about a refill on the old chocolate milk?
No, thanks. You have a vegetable or something.
Just finish your cake first, and then we'll see.
That Belvedere, he always got a nice zinger, locked and loaded.
Marcia, she got some books to help Wesley deal with death.
Well, I picked up some books from the library that might help.
Oh, great. Why the cat won't come back?
See, the thing is, Wesley knows that Mr. Zabriskie died, but I'm not sure he understands what that means. Now, this book says you've got to deal with it flat out.
Once upon a time, little Johnny Smith had a cat named Whiskers. Whiskers was a fun cat. Whiskers loved his ball of string. One day, Whiskers followed his string into a busy street.
Here comes the flat part.
George.
Mrs. Owens, I think that Wesley might be a little bit too old for this.
Yeah, well, then how about this one? It says that it's important that children understand that while death is a very sad thing, it's just a normal and inevitable part of life.
Sexual dilemmas. Roadmap for the 80s?
That's for us.
Happy motoring.
Sexual dilemmas.
You think George is having troubles again?
Well, interestingly, I thought that title, Sexual Dilemmas, meant that they were having problems in the bedroom. But what I'm seeing now is that there was a board game from 1986 called Sexual Dilemmas. You could buy it on eBay. And it seems to be an adult party game where players score points by predicting how friends or relatives would answer provocative, risque, and awkward moral/social scenarios.
So maybe it's just like a fun book to read back and forth to each other and ask each other questions.
Yeah, that might be what it is. But man, that title really fooled me.
Dilemmas doesn't, what's Belvedere say? Locked and loaded right there. Happy motoring.
Happy motoring. You know it, PJ. Well, it turns out Wesley had wished that something bad would happen to Mr. Zabriskie.
This is intense.
So now, at this point in the story, Wesley thinks that he has some sort of Death Note style powers where he can just wish for someone to die and it will happen. That's really interesting that Wesley's not even more upset than he is, knowing that he thinks that.
If he truly believes that. And knowing the Owens kids, they definitely believe that.
Belvedere assures Wesley that it was a coincidence. But then Wesley tells him a story about something that happened at school.
I remember this kid at school that kept picking on me, and I wish something would happen to him, and he fell off the monkey bars and broke his arm.
Wesley.
And then I had this teacher that kept calling on me, and I wish something would happen to her, and she got pregnant.
Wesley, I'm certain you had nothing to do with that.
I got the power.
Wesley, we're in Beaver Falls, not the Twilight Zone. You're obviously distraught, and I think you should talk to your parents.
Don't tell Mom and Dad,
Why not?
because then they'll get all upset and start yelling at me. And you know what happens to people that yell at me. I'm scared something will happen to them.
Fine. I won't say a word for now. Anyway, I'm tired of all this chit-chat. Go and clean your room.
I already cleaned it.
The ceiling?
Come on.
And when you're finished with that, you can vacuum the stairs and go weed my garden.
Hey, you're just trying to make me mad on purpose.
I mean, what happens?
What does happen?
Belvedere walks away, and then the door gets opened up into him, and he spills everything all over him. And Wesley goes, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, hey, told you, Lynn.
So you do think that Wesley has these powers?
No, but it'd be an awesome subplot.
I mean, this is, take notes. I would like this to be part of our rewrite.
I love this so much. I love that this is going to be part of our show.
It's interesting, like, to think about what you would do with that power, because you don't want to kill anyone or be responsible for killing anyone, but there's lots of people out there that are killing other people. So if you kill someone that kills people, aren't you doing something good?
Is that justice? Yeah. I don't know.
It's a real moral quandary, and it makes me really think about how we're going to approach this with Wesley in our rewrite.
Oh my gosh. In whose hands would that actually be something that could be trusted? The power of God, essentially.
I trust myself with the power of God.
You know what, Chris? I trust you too, actually.
I mean, I wouldn't hurt anyone that didn't hurt people themselves.
I would say that you'd probably never even use it.
This is a real serious moral dilemma. I mean, you could almost say it's like what something you would find in Sexual Dilemmas, a roadmap for the 80s, except this is more like Death Note dilemmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This is an interesting question to throw to the listeners out there.
Yeah, I would love to see some comments on this. What would you do with that?
Would you trust Wesley with this power?
No, I would never trust a single Owens with that power. Maybe Marcia, maybe Heather, but highly unlikely any Owens would get that. Belvedere, of course.
Belvedere might be the most ideal person to have a death note.
Mm-hmm. I think he would be very responsible with it.
When you drop kicked your jacket as you came through the door. No one.
Mr. Belvedere will be right back.
Here at One Hit Thunder, we love and respect all those hardworking musicians and songwriters putting great music into the world, which is why we're proud to call DistroKid a sponsor. Long before they even became a sponsor of our show, I was using DistroKid to make sure that my music was streaming on all the go-to places like Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube Music, Tidal, and Amazon Music. And if you're ready to put your music into the world, I can't recommend DistroKid enough. And if you head to distrokid.com/VIP/OneHitThunder, you can get 30% off your entire first year with DistroKid. Heading to that address, which is also in the show notes of this episode, is the best way to learn all the benefits, but here are some rapid-fire ones. Easily paying collaborators with splits, generating free Spotify canvases, making mini videos to use on your socials, keeping people from stealing your music with DistroLock, using Hyperfollow to get pre-saves on your songs, sharing large files with playlist curators and producers with Instant Share, mastering your music with Mixia, and easily withdrawing your earnings with the DistroKid app. I could go all day here, but the easiest thing to do is to go to distrokid.com/VIP/OneHitThunder to learn all the benefits. That's distrokid.com/VIP/OneHitThunder as soon as you're ready to take that big step of putting your music into the world.
When you're 7-Eleven's hottest fire chicken sandwich, people think you're intense. Well, yeah, I'm hot! So, yeah, intense. Want to see if you can handle the heat? Then try me. With pickles or spicy mayo and jalapenos. Oh, and it's all just $4.99. That's a deal almost as hot as I am. Almost! Sweets? No. Spicy? See for yourself. $4.99 and only at 7-Eleven. Valid through 8/25/26. Participating stores only while supplies last. Visit the store for full terms.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel, maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Listening to this podcast instead of doom scrolling? Smart move. Another smart move? Getting help from one of State Farm's 19,000 local agents when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Get business done with the new American Express Graphite Business Cash Unlimited card. With unlimited 2% cash back on all eligible purchases, unlimited 5% cash back on flights and prepaid hotels booked through American Express Travel Online, and a flexible spending capacity that can grow with your business, you'll have the confidence to keep building. Apply today and earn a welcome offer of $1,500 cash back after you spend $50,000 in qualifying purchases on your new card within the first 6 months of card membership. Terms apply. Learn more at go.amex/graphite.
And no one spared. All hands look out below.
If I was in a situation where I got the death note, but I could opt out of being the person in control so I don't have to make these decisions. I mean, passing it to Belvedere, if it's, we're living in the Belvedere verse, passing it to Belvedere, I think, would be a great thing. I mean, he's obviously shown that he has some sort of moral compass. I mean, he's strapping himself, he's trying to save the whales.
Yeah, true. As long as you're not a bag lady, he'll be great to you.
Yeah. Interesting.
No, I do think he's the right person. Now, here's the thing, though. What if the only way you could get rid of the Death Note book was to write your own name in it?
I could hold on to it.
I really think you could bear that responsibility.
I think that's just too much power.
It really is. It's crazy when you think about it.
Anyway, George is helping with the dishes, trying to get some info from Belvedere about what's up with Wesley.
Mm-hmm.
And it is interesting that George is helping with the dishes. This is not something George usually does.
I'm telling you, they're coming together. Old George and Belv. They are simpatico, those two.
And we find out that Zabrisky's family wants Wesley to come to the funeral. And that's interesting because at this point, Wesley thinks that he killed him. And he doesn't realize that, maybe Mr. Zabriskie was a little rough around the edges with his techniques, but he loved his students.
Mm-hmm. You don't do that unless you truly like doing it.
Right. George hates funerals. And I got to tell you, I agree with him.
Oh, I'm totally with you guys on that too. And he brings up something that I always say when people are like, oh, they look so good. I hate when people say that at a funeral. It's like, it's literally the worst they could possibly look. The whole thing of the body being there, I don't like looking at it. The whole thing bothers me.
I've had my fair share of awkward encounters at funerals, but I don't know, maybe I might have had one worse, but George had a pretty bad one.
I'm George Owens.
Oh, Wesley's father. I am Rose, Peter's sister.
Peter who?
Zabriskie.
Oh, I see the resemblance. Not now, before.
Yes. Oh, and we're all so sorry. It had to happen in front of young Wesley.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that reminds me. Here's $10.
Oh, thank you. Is this for a better seat?
Oh, no. That was for Wes's last lesson. I didn't get a chance to pay for it. And of course, the lesson only lasted 10 minutes. But what the hell? It's severance pay.
That's kind of on par with the funeral that I went to, where I asked someone who I knew at the funeral how they knew the person who died. And they said to me, it's my mom.
Oh my God. That's way worse. Who did you do that to?
It was a classmate of mine from high school, and her mother had a different last name than her.
Mm.
And it was the person I was dating at the time's teacher from school back in the day who she really liked. And I assumed that this classmate of mine from back in the day, that she, like maybe she was her teacher or something, because they didn't have the same last name.
What did you say?
Something along the lines of like, I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? It was
no, after you found out. When she said my mother, what did you just go, oh my God?
I was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And you know, she assured me it was okay, but I'll never forget, like, it was so, like, my heart sank into my freaking.
I can't even imagine, dude. I can't even imagine. Wow.
I never told you that before?
No. Wow.
George, not as bad as my faux pas at a funeral, but he asks who Peter is. It's kind of along the lines of mine. And he also gives her the $10 that they owed Mr. Zabriskie for the lesson.
Which is kind of a nice, funny thing to do at a funeral, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think it's kind of like, I don't know. I appreciate humor.
Sure.
Especially, that's a coping mechanism for everything. But like, I definitely think that, like, yeah, it's just a funny thing to do.
Yeah. And $10 with inflation, I mean, that might have been like $35 nowadays or something. Like,
well, you know what I would have done, obviously? You put it in the coffin with him.
Really?
It's the payment for his last lesson ever. Of course I'd put it in the coffin with him.
Okay. All right. Well, we do get the answer to your question from earlier in the episode, PJ. Mr. Zabriskie was born in 1918 in Poland in a cottage filled with music. He had 11 brothers and sisters who all played accordion.
Great joke here.
And then in 1924, they had to flee Poland.
They make the joke that obviously they made them flee because they played too much accordion, which is hilarious.
Ah, right.
That's funny.
But now we find out, PJ, we finally get the break in Wesley.
Hi, I'm Wesley Owens, and we're all going to play Mr. Zabriskie's favorite song. I mean, it must have been because he made me practice it so much. I used to think he was just a mean old man, but now I realize he was just trying to be a good teacher. And I'm sorry he died. And I'm sorry I killed him.
Wesley's upset because he thinks he killed Zabriskie at this point. But he talks to some dork who plays accordion, who's performing with him. And that dork tells him that every kid in Pittsburgh wished that Zabriskie would die at some point. And then Wesley wishes him alive and realizes that he doesn't have the powers he thinks he does.
Nope. That's a great button on that episode, isn't it?
Doesn't work that way, does it?
In ours, it will.
That's right. That's right.
And ours is going to resurrect him.
Dude, could you imagine in the rewrite if we bring Zabriskie back to life?
Yep.
They really do wrap this episode up by Wesley asking if they can stop for ice cream on the way home.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his appetite for sweets back.
Got that sweet tooth back. He's back. Wesley's back. He's be snarking it up before you know it. And did you like Belvedere's entry this week?
What about it?
What he's listening to.
I don't remember what he's listening to.
Oh, he puts on a Walkman at the end and he goes, I don't know who you are, Van Halen, but thank you very much.
Okay.
So he's drowned out the accordion with little Van Halen. What Van Halen album came out in 1985?
So that would still be the album 1984. So okay. Jump, Panama, Hot for Teacher.
To me, that's a Van Halen greatest hits album, volume 1.
PJ, the last couple weeks, before we get to Scotch eggs, the last couple weeks, I asked people to leave us some Belvedere Bros reviews on Apple Podcasts to help keep Belvedere Bros alive. Do you want to hear a few of them?
I'd love to.
So we got one from Aaron the Cox, who said, I'm a Belvedere bro, gave us 5 stars, and said, One Hit Thunder is a great podcast, but I'm captivated by the Belvedere Bros spinoff podcast. I'll ride this show through a tornado.
Nice reference. I love that.
We got one from Josh the Godless Heathen.
Okay, I like him already.
Gave us 5 stars, said, been a long-time listener to One Hit Thunder, but lately I've been living the good life yet with Belvedere Bros.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Wonderful. I mean, writing's on the wall.
But can I read you a critical one?
Sure.
So this one gave us 5 stars, so I can't complain.
Mm-hmm.
This one's from I Am the Rud Man, who said, I enjoy One Hit Thunder and listen to every episode, but I especially love the new edition of Belvedere Bros. I've never watched a single episode of Mr. Belvedere, nor do I have any intention to, but I enjoy watching it vicariously through Belvedere Bros every week. Interesting. Interesting that we have listeners that are only experiencing the show, Mr. Belvedere, through us talking about Mr. Belvedere. That's an interesting way to watch it.
I like to think they'll be on the ride for us when we make our own version of Mr. Belvedere.
I would hope so. But now we're going to get to the critical part because I have some questions about it. My one negative is that this podcast sometimes just feels like a plug for Punchline, a band that I'm just not that into and had never heard of before this podcast. Also, Chris rarely reacts to anything anyone else says.
Really? Now, I can say that, first of all, this guy's in for a treat. He gets to learn about Belvedere and Punchline.
When it comes to One Hit Thunder, I'm not usually the one who starts the conversation about Punchline. The only time I really bring Punchline up is when there's a reason, because it relates to something in the story and of that band or artist. And I can only reach into my own personal experience to, I don't know, try to relate to that. Now, any sort of plug or song that's played at the end of the episode, that's not me doing that. That is not my choice. Not saying I don't appreciate it, but that's not me trying to use this platform to promote Punchline.
Well, I mean, as far as those songs go, like, it's great because you get to play a different song. Maybe someone's going to like one. We obviously have permission to use them. I will say, Chris, that sometimes you're a tough laugh to get. You are a tough laugh to get. But also, too, I know when you think something's funny just by the way you look, by the look on your face. And that's all I ever need. But I know I'll say something sometimes and I'm like, oh, Chris definitely doesn't think that funny. And I look over and you're just kind of like looking off. And I'm like, oh. But I can tell by you get that little smirk, you know? And then I'm like, oh, yeah, he thinks it's funny. He thinks it's funny. But I brought this up to you one other time, too. Yeah, I can't remember what episode it was, but somebody was trying so hard to like do bits the whole time.
Yeah.
And you would just, they would like go on this whole bit and you would just respond, right. And then you just move on.
It's really hard.
Me, it was the fun. You saved all of his bits by not reacting to them. But in your defense, this person was tragically not funny and they were like trying super hard to be funny. And I was laughing so hard listening to that episode because you were totally no-selling his jokes, but they just weren't funny, man. It wasn't your fault.
I have a really hard time just because when I think something is funny, especially if I fall into a like sort of pit of laughter, which happens to me sometimes, to be honest, it sometimes happens like I hate talking about this really, but my algorithm on Instagram is just like nonstop the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. And when I fall down that rabbit hole, sometimes I just will laugh hysterically.
Oh,
I was laughing to a meme of, it looked like a Pepsi logo, but instead of saying Pepsi, it was just slightly different. And it said Peebus, P-E-B-I-S. And next to the Peebus, it said Heavy Peebus. I don't know why that made me. I was like rolling on the floor laughing in bed one night. I'm like, why is this so funny?
I mean, seriously, you couldn't even count the number of times that you and I were laughing so hard at something that probably only you and I thought was the funniest thing in the world, that we were like crying.
Yeah.
So like I've spent, I don't know what, the past 30 years of my life with you. Yeah.
And
we've definitely laughed a lot, but I notice sometimes, but also too, I think it's in a way like, you ever watch, I know you don't like Jerry Seinfeld that much.
That's putting it lightly.
But sometimes when another comedian says something to another comedian, instead of like laughing at his, go, oh, that's really funny.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes that's what you're doing. You're just going, oh, that was funny. You don't have to like go crazy over it.
Yeah.
And that's fine too. I think that's a really sincere thing to say. Like, oh wow, that's almost like you're wow, that's funny. That's good. I'm going to say that again.
So how many Scotch eggs are you giving this episode, PJ?
I'm going to go with a solid 8.
Okay. You're giving this one 8. You like episodes about life and death.
Yeah. I thought it was a great subject to tackle. Yeah. It's funny. I loved it. It was a great episode. I like that he was playing the accordion.
Right.
Like taking music lessons. I love the whole thing. I loved George's struggle with handling tough subjects with his children, and at one point admitting how he's just really bad at it. You know, right. I love that part of his character in the story, because it's like, oh wow, so he's admitting this, and like he's not afraid to just go straight to Belvedere now. He's like unabashedly just asking for advice. I like that development in this episode, and I think that's what's giving a couple extra eggies for me.
Yeah, it is really interesting, because the only real disagreement that George and Belvedere had in this episode was who inspired Wesley to start playing the accordion in the first place. And then George realizes, after blaming Belvedere at first, that it was actually him who did it. So he can't really have beef with Belvedere about that. And it does seem like he's going to Belvedere for everything from help in dealing with the death of Zabriskie to help in dealing with Wesley handling the death.
Dude, he's even drying the dishes for old Belvs.
We're getting some growth in the Belvedere-George dynamic. So yeah, I think I'll agree with you, PJ. I think I'll also give this one 8 Scotch eggs.
Yeah, I think it is a good rating. I think one other cool joke that happened in this episode was they referenced how to talk to Wesley about this. And he says the straightforward approach. And he mentions how that never works with firing Belvedere, because Belvedere's still around.
Right.
Fortunately, Wesley's first confrontation with human mortality has proven to be a healthy and enlightening experience. How ironic that what I feared might be a continuing ordeal for young Wesley has instead become one for the rest of us. I don't know exactly who Van Halen is, but bless them.
This has been Belvedere Bros, hosted by PJ Caruso and me, Chris Fafalius, a guy who doesn't react to anything anyone says and is only here to plug punchline. Beneath me, you're hearing the instrumental version of According to Our New Arrival, the theme song to Mr. Belvedere, written by Gary Portnoy and Judy Hart Angelo. If you love Belvedere Bros, don't forget to head over to Apple Podcasts, leave us 5 stars, and let us know in a written review which character on Mr. Belvedere you'd most trust with the powers of the Death Note. Also, please continue telling everyone you know about Belvedere Bros so we can continue making episodes of Belvedere Bros, and hopefully we'll be back next week with another episode of Belvedere Bros.
This episode is brought to you by ChatGPT. Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. Have you guys heard about ChatGPT work? It's the new way to use ChatGPT for bigger multi-step projects. And when you need more than just answers, give ChatGPT work access to your apps and files, and it can create real work documents like spreadsheets, slides, and structured reports. Get started at chatgpt.com by selecting work mode, available on Plus and Pro plans.
Hello? Look what TJ Maxx dragged in.
The Devil Wears Prada 2 is now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu.
We are digital, we are downloadable, we are streamable.
The fashion event of the year is certified fresh.
Pull yourself together, we have work to do.
Critics say it's smart and witty and the perfect sequel.
That's all.
Get runway ready for The Devil Wears Prada 2 on Disney Plus and Hulu. Rated PG-13.